the latter.
Strawberries.
Yeah, I think so. Hello. Shalom.
I didn't get the notification.
Shalom, shalom. Just getting started here.
I didn't get the notification, but I'll share it.
I got it in the group here.
Which one?
I just shared it in the group on TikTok.
Okay.
You gotta turn your volume down.
No, I want to hear myself.
It's for everyone else. It creates like Shabbat shalom, shalom, brother. We're just gonna wait for some people to get in here. I'm still recovering, so I got someone that's gonna read for me tonight. So just be patient with us. But it's gonna be. We're going to talk about Ezekiel 20 and the warning that we're given as we are being called out and as we go into the wilderness on our journey into the promised land. So that's kind of what our focus is going to be on tonight, is preparations for that and what's going to happen to some of the other people and how we can prepare ourselves for that journey emotionally and spiritually, so we have the strength to endure to the end. So just one moment here. So just be patient with us for a moment while we wait for Fly Swatter to get in here. He's going to be the one reading for me tonight.
He's in.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shalom, James.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, Ron. Shalom, Judy. Shalom, Judy. How you doing tonight, brother?
Doing good, doing good. How are you doing? You sound a little better.
Oh, I can't hear you. There, now I can hear you. I had my volume turned down.
Oh, is that better? Good, you good?
That's better. Yeah, wasn't
Okay.
your fault. All right. So we'll just start off. How was your Shabbat going? You just got into it, huh?
Well, officially, if we're going by last light,
They say, or last light or whatever, but
yeah, I usually go by sundown, but we've been going by last light because I don't know. I think it's just
yeah. What are
They say that it's when you see the first star.
I think that's Talmud
That's
tradition or something. Yeah.
Hebrews.
yeah.
2 stars or something.
3, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah. Shalom. Shalom, everybody.
Can you hear me all right? I got my headset on.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I assume everybody else can hear the same. But shalom, Ricky. Shalom, Candace, Dolores, Jelly, Kitty. Everybody else, good to see you. So, let's just start off right at Ezekiel 20. I'm gonna have James read for me, and I'll just have you kind of pause. The first bit, there'll be a lot of reading until we get kind of into the verse 20s and stuff. So I'm not going to pause you too much, but once we get into the 20s and 30s, I'm going to stop you pretty much almost every verse. So just kind of giving you a heads up of what to prepare for. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start at the beginning of chapter 20.
Okay. All right, Ezekiel 20. I'm going to be reading from the scriptures.
Perfect. That's what I got too. So,
All right. And it came to be in the 7th year, in the 5th month, on the 10th of the new moon, that certain of the elders of Israel came to inquire of Yahweh, and sat before me. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Israel, and say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, Have you come to inquire of me? As I live, I am not being inquired of by you, declares the Master Yahweh.
all right, pause there a minute. So, I just want to point this out because later on he's going to bring up this inquiring of him. So, like he's kind of like, are you coming to ask me questions? You know, just keep that in your mind at this point. Go ahead.
All right, verse 4. Judge them, Son of man, judge them. Make known to them the abominations of their fathers. And you shall say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, on the day when I chose Israel and lifted my hand in an oath to the seed of my house of Jacob, and made myself known to them in the land of Mitzrayim, I lifted my hand in an oath to them, saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim. On that day I lifted my hand in an oath to them to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land that I have searched out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land that I have searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. And I said to them, Each one of you throw away the abominations which are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. But they rebelled against me and would not obey me. All of them did not throw away the abominations which were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Mitzrayim. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them, to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Mitzrayim. But I acted for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned before the eyes of the nations among whom they were, before whose eyes I had made myself known to them, to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim.
All right, pause there a minute. All right, I just want everyone to notice here also that he could have resolved his wrath on them to complete his displeasure against them, but you know, he acted for his name's sake. He kept them there for his name's sake. He didn't do it for them because they were being disobedient. All right, he didn't do it because they deserved it or they were worthy of it. All right, he did this for his name's sake, so that he can prove something to other people of the nations and prove that he is the Most High. Go ahead.
All right, verse 10. So I took them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and I brought them into the wilderness, and I gave them my laws, and showed them my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And I also gave them my Sabbaths, to be a sign between them and me, to know that I am Yahweh who sets them apart. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my laws, and they rejected my right rulings, which, if a man does, he shall live by them. And man does, he shall live by them. And they greatly profaned my Sabbaths. Then I said, I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness to consume them, for whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself also lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, not to bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands.
Pause
Because
there.
they
So there's his namesake again, how he had done it for his name. He held back his hand for his namesake, not to profane it before the eyes of the nation. So we always have to remember that he is the reason that we have anything that we have going for us, like the knowledge, all of this, because we are the people in Egypt that have been walking in, because we are the people in Egypt that have been walking and following all of our abominations and our idols. And he's rising us up right now for his namesake. So we always need to remember that when we're on this journey. All right, keep going.
All right, verse 16. Because they rejected my right rulings and did not walk in my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols, and my eye pardoned them from destroying them. And I did not make an end of them in the wilderness. And I said to their children in the wilderness, do not walk in the laws of your fathers, nor observe their rulings, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Walk in my laws and guard my right rulings and do them. And set apart my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you to know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. But the children rebelled against me. They did not walk in my laws, in my right rulings. They did not guard to do them, which if a man does, he shall live by them. They profaned my Sabbaths, so I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the wilderness. But I held back my hand and acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the eyes of the nations, before whose eyes I had brought them out. Also, I myself lifted my hand in an oath to those in the wilderness to scatter them among the nations and disperse them throughout the lands.
All right, stop there for a minute. Or actually read the next verse and then we'll stop.
All right. Verse 24, because they had not done my right rulings, and they rejected my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths, and their eyes were on their fathers' idols.
And one more.
Verse 25, and I also gave them up to laws that were not good, and right rulings, by which they would not live.
All right. So currently in our Egypt or our America, we have 30,000 laws that roughly 30,000 that are in the United roughly 30,000 that are in the United States. So they pass about 600 to 800 every year. So in the Torah, in 1 year that has passed in the U.S. So that's exactly what's happening to us. He's giving us up to laws that are not good and right rulings that which we will not live. I mean, how many people are not free and not able to live in this state? We have the most people imprisoned in this state or in this country than anywhere else in the world right now. So, and then in man's laws, we have the Talmud, which they have almost like, and it depends on the interpretation, but they have up to 6,000 just Sabbath laws in the Talmud. So that is a very good proof of those words happening in our time right now. And you can see how that fits with the way we have to live right now. So I just wanted to touch on that. Go ahead and read the next verse. Go ahead and read the next verse. When it says stun in this next verse, it means kind of like stupefy, appall, like he's going to leave him speechless. All right. All right.
All right, verse 26.
Yeah.
And excuse me, and I defiled them by their own gifts as they passed all their first know that I am Yahweh. Therefore, Son of man, speak to the house of Israel, and you shall say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, in this your fathers have further reviled me by committing trespass against me. When I brought them into the land for which I have lifted my hand in an oath to give them, and they saw all the high hills and all the thick trees, they slaughtered their slaughterings there, and provoked me with their offerings there. And they sent upon their sweet fragrance there, and poured out their drink offerings there. And I said to them, What is this high place to which you go? So its name is called High Place to this day.
All right, pause there for a moment. So if you look up the definitions of the words used for high place and then the second high place, the first high place is kind of, it means an elevation. All right. High, like highness in reference to elevation. The number is H1116. We're going to find out where this high place is that they're talking about. All right. He prophesies something that is to a point of something. So the word is Bama, all right, to be high in elevation. And then the second high place is actually 1117, and it says a place in Palestine. Now, if you know where the real Palestine is, or where it was back then, and then if you look at the highest point in that area, which they now call Israel, that is Jerusalem. So this point, this spot that he is actually talking about, he is pointing out Jerusalem to the point, to the T. Like, it is amazing that that is prophetic right there. So, and then verse 26, as they passed all their firstborn through the fire, so that I might stun them, and so they may know that I am Yahweh. This is something very important that we need to touch on as far as what we have going on with our children, like the laws and the feasts and all of the things that we have not been doing, you know, like, or that we have not been following, so that, you know, Christmas and Easter, we have Easter coming up. This is one of the things that will pass your children through the fire. If anybody's still celebrating Easter out there. So we cannot be contributing to these pagan holidays or any of these things. There's so many things that can pass our children through the fire of the world, that we need to try and remember to focus on teaching them the ways of our Father, the law, his laws and his Sabbaths and his rulings, so that they don't have to grow up knowing the Father's idols. They don't have to know our Father's idols. We can change that. We can change that today. We can change it in the future, so that this doesn't continue to happen, what's happened to us. I believe that's why this calling is happening as well. You know, even if the end doesn't come for some reason, you know, we all believe that it is happening soon. Almost everybody can attest to that. But even if it doesn't for some reason, we can still change things right now, like today. And we have to, according to what we're going to read in the future. On this live right here, we're going to get deep into that. So, let's see. Let's go back on to verse 30, right?
Yep, verse 30. Therefore, say to the house of Israel, Thus said the Master Yahweh, Are you Israel? Thus said the Master Yahweh, Are you defiling yourselves in the way of your fathers? And do you whore after their abominations? For when you lift up your gifts and make Apparently my fingers are really dry and I can't turn the pages. You defile yourselves with all your idols, even to this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel? As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, I am not being inquired of by you.
All right, pause there for a minute. So let's look at that for a minute. Verse 30, this is something we really need to be questioning ourselves and analyzing our lives, self-reflecting, is are we still holding on to those things that are defiling us in the ways of our thought fathers, the things that we've been taught as children? Are we lusting after those things? Are we desiring those things more than our Father? That is a huge question that he's asking right there. And we're going to have to face that same question when we go into the promised land, like in the wilderness. He's going to test us. He's going to try us. Let's see. I thought I fixed it maybe, but it's the whole TikTok that's doing this. Everybody's having that problem, it seems like, lately. Let's see if I can.
My internet's been slow too.
All right. We'll just see here for a sec. The phone crashed. I had to restart the phone. All right. Well, maybe I closed a bunch of things. Maybe it'll be better now. I got it on airplane mode. Let me see what internet I'm connected. Hold on 1 second, everybody. That might help. All right. All right. And then in verse 31, can you guys hear me a little better now? Is it doing okay? Let's see. Maybe if I talk more, I'm just going to kind of randomly say things so that you can see. Okay, good. Good. All right, we'll keep going. Verse 31. He's like, so therefore says the house of Israel, or no, that's not it. Verse 31, for when you lift up your gifts and make your sons pass through the fire, you defile yourself with all your idols, even to this day. And then shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel? So what is he's saying here? Like, he's like, you're not even doing the things that I commanded you, and you're going to ask me questions. Like, you're coming to me, asking me why I'm doing the things I'm doing. Like, how many people are out there praying right now about, like, oh God, why did you allow this to happen? Or why do you allow evil? Why do you allow kids to have cancer? Or why, this and that? Well, it's because we're not following his commands. It's as simple as that. He might not necessarily put these things on us, but he's allowing them to happen. Okay. So
That's what the church does.
yep. And here's prophecy about it right here. I mean, it's not me saying this. This is the word saying this. I'm just putting it into layman's terms, but and then he basically says straight up, I'm not going to listen to your questions. I'm not being inquired of by you. Who are you to ask me questions? So if we're going to sit there and pray to him and ask him questions, we need to make sure that we're worthy of him to listen to us. So self-reflect, self-analyzation. Again, that's what this live is going to be all about, is about reflecting on ourselves and who we have involved in our lives, who we are casting our pearls to, who are the ones that are going to be the ones that are going out of Egypt into the wilderness. So there's only going to be a select few. wilderness. So there's only going to be a select few, not 2.4 billion people.
He allowed it to happen to Job, and Job was a huge follower.
That's right. And what did Job do? Job endured to the end. He praised him even in the worst predicaments. He still praised him. Even his wife was the last one left, and she was like, just curse him and die. Just curse God and die. And what did he do? He kept praising Yah. So, all right, that we can continue on. You were on 32, right?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
However, it shall never be when you say, let us be like the nations, like the tribes in other lands, serving wood and nations, like the tribes in other lands, serving wood and stone. As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, do not I with a mighty hand, with an outstretched, do not I with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out reign over you? And I shall bring you out from the peoples, and gather you out of the lands where you are, and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you in the wilderness of the peoples, and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. As I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, so I shall enter into judgment with you, declares the Master Yahweh. And I shall make you pass under the rod, and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgress against me. For the land where they sojourn I bring them out, but they shall not come into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yahweh.
All right, pause there a minute. Did you all catch all that? Like, there is going to be, so on this journey through the wilderness, we're going to be tested and tried, and not only by like, making it there, but by people in the crowd with us. All right. There's going to be people in the crowd that are going to be not of our Father. So I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I can tell when it's doing it because it has those two red and blue things.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys.
I wonder how it would upload.
It'll still upload good. We'll just finish it out and we'll do the best we can.
Go to YouTube and see it?
Yeah, I'll post it on YouTube when we're done, and we'll just try our best. Hopefully it'll get better, I guess. But we'll talk really slow. Maybe that'll help.
The devil's a liar.
He is.
He is.
There's going to be pretenders in there, and there's going to be people that just don't have the heart, people that want to go, and people that, desire, they don't want to deal with the things that that the world has to offer anymore, but and the death and destruction that's out there. But he's going to put us into a bond of the covenant. He's going to make us either do his will, or he will purge the rebels from among us. So if you don't have the heart to do his will, you might as well just stay in Egypt. All right. That's the point of that. If you can't follow his will now, you're probably not going to be able to follow his will and when the time gets tough. So you might as well start doing it now, and you might as well start trying right now, because he's only going to put the test on harder when we get into the wilderness. So go ahead with verse 39, brother.
All right. 39. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahweh, go serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me. But do not profane my set apart name any more with your gifts and your idols. For on my set apart mountain, on the mountain height of Israel, declares the Master Yahweh. There all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the firstfruits of your offerings, together with all your set-apart gifts.
All right, pause there a minute. All right, I meant to stop you at 39, but he said, do not profane my set-apart name with any more with your gifts and your idols. I want to head over to Exodus 32. I'll go over there and read this quick, but
Okay.
I'm going to read Exodus 32, 26, and 28. Just 26 through 28, just to show everybody how serious he is about when he says this, all right? And Moses stood in the entrance of the camp and said, who is for Yahweh? Come to me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves. And he said to them, thus said Yahweh of Israel, each one put his sword on his side, pass over to and fro from gate to gate in the camp, and each one kill his brother, and each one his friend, and each one his relative. And the sons of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and about 3,000 men of the people fell that day. Did you guys catch all of that? Moses commanded the Levites to kill their relatives and their friends because they did not stand with Moses, and because they weren't standing for Yahweh, actually. So that is how serious he is. And I don't think it's going to be much different when we're going through this Exodus. I think it's going to be very, very similar at some points. So be careful about who you keep your company with. This is very important. All right, you can keep going reading, brother.
All right, verse 41. As a sweet fragrance I shall accept you when I bring you from the peoples, and I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be set apart from the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be set apart in you before the nations. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I bring you into the land of Israel, into the land of your fathers. And there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds with which you were defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight because of all the evils that you did.
All right, pause there.
And you shall know. Oh,
All right, that was chapter 32, verses 26 through 28. There, Shelley. Or I think that's her. I can't remember. Sorry, it's been a while. But verse 43. So, and there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds with which you were defiled, and you shall loathe yourself in your own sight because of all the evils you have did. All right, why is this being said? Like, what are they actually going to be remembering? Well, it's going to be remembering all these people that were used as examples as prior to that. It's going to be, these people are going to be remembering all the evils that were done as a whole that caused these other people to be slain, that they had to watch, or that they died on the way, or that they had to leave prior to. Well, let's read Jeremiah 16, and that's going to tell you exactly what these people are going to be remembering. All right. I'll just read the first few verses here. This is Jeremiah 16, verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, do not take a wife, nor have sons or daughters in this place. And this is talking about Egypt, all right? Current day Egypt. For thus said Yahweh concerning the sons and daughters, current day Egypt. For thus said Yahweh concerning the sons and daughters who are born in this place, and concerning their mothers who bear them, and their fathers who bring them forth in this land. They shall not be lamented nor be buried, but be like dung on the face of the earth. and be consumed by sword and by scarcity of food. Consumed by sword and by scarcity of food. And their corpses shall be meat for the birds of the heavens and for the beasts of the earth. For thus said Yahweh, do not enter the house. For thus said Yahweh, do not enter the house of mourning, neither go to lament or mourn for them, for I have withdrawn my peace from this people, declares Yahweh, even the loving commitment and the compassions. Now, this is why you need everybody that you love to come into covenant, is because if they don't come into covenant and you are, this is what's going to happen to the people that you love. And you cannot mourn or lament for them because you chose to take people that were out of covenant. All right?
That's not going to sit well with a lot of people.
That's all right. That's the truth.
It is the truth.
That's what
yeah.
needs to happen.
I'm just saying.
So
I went through that today a little bit.
So if you're holding on to any of these people that you think you're going to be able to save or whatever, or that you can bring them with you, you cannot hold on to the people of this world. You just have to hope for the best, that maybe at Judgment Day you will see them again. But you need to stay true to your commitment, and you need to stay true to your Father and your word with him. So, all right, we'll continue on to 44 there.
All right. Verse 44, and you shall know that I am Yahweh when I have dealt with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, nor according to your corrupt deeds, O house of Israel, declares the Master Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward the south, and drop word against the south, and prophesy against the forest land, the south. And you shall say to the forest of the south, Hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said Master Yahweh, See, I am kindling a fire in you, and it shall devour every green tree, and every dry tree in you. The blazing flame is not quenched, and it shall burn all faces from the south to the north. And all flesh shall see that I, Yahweh, have kindled it, and it is not quenched. And I said, Ah, Master Yahweh, they are saying of me, is he not speaking parables?
All right. So that's pretty much all I really have broke down for today. But I think that's enough for everybody to sit and think about. This is very important because this time is going to be coming up, and there's so many people that are out there on the fence and just halfway in and halfway out, or just can't make the full commitment because of something in their life that they are holding on to. But that is going to disappear anyways. So either try to make it so that it can come with you, do whatever you can, because you're going to lose it anyways. Or if it's something that cannot come with you, which that's much more in detail, then you need to cut it out of your life so that you can go. Yes, this will be on YouTube. I will try to download it tonight right after I get off of here. But I'm going to break down some more of this future. I got part of 21 broke down, but I think that's very important because I know a lot of people, like you were talking about, James, you had some issues with some people that you really cared about going on recently. And I think this kind of answers some questions that you were having, I hope.
Yep.
Okay. And it doesn't mean that, you don't try to help those people, all right?
You're not nice to them anymore.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're not nice to them, but you definitely got to be careful about who you're going to bend over backwards for, who you're going to go out of your way for, who you're going to, consider your brother or sister, all right? So, We really have to in these end times be careful of that, and try to help them. I'm not encouraging people to cut people out of their lives, but if they aren't going to listen, you need to Titus 3:10 them so that
Walk you.
yep, so that you can save yourself and not, lead yourself into other things that are going to lead you back to their place. Because if you're accepting of what they're doing, eventually you're just going to walk right back into it.
Yep. I constantly keep reading. I share with people that aren't in the truth but are in the church, and I constantly read for myself Ezekiel 9. I read it multiple times a week because that's what's going to happen to those people.
Is that a long chapter?
Nope.
You want to read it quick?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Yep. Ezekiel 9. And he called out in my hearing with a loud voice, saying, Let the punishers of this city draw near, each with his weapon of destruction in his hand. And look, 6 men came from the direction of the upper gate, which faces north, each one with his battle axe in his hand. And one man in the midst was clothed with a linen and had a writer's inkhorn at his side. That's Enoch.
Oh yeah. Yep. I've
And
I've I've heard that before.
yep.
The inkhorn. Yep.
And they came in and stood beside the bronze slaughter place. And the esteem of the Elohim of Israel went up from the cherub, where it had where it had been to the cherub, where it had where it had been to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, who had the writer's inkhorn at his side. And Yahweh said to him, Pass on into the midst of the city, into the midst of Jerusalem, and you shall put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and cry over all the abominations that are done within it. And to the others he said in my hearing, Pass on into the city after him, and strike. Do not let your eye pardon nor spare. Kill to destruction old, young men, maidens, and children and women, but do not come near anyone upon whom is the mark, and begin at my set apart place. So they began with the elders who were in front of the house. And he said to them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go out. And they went out and struck in the city. And as they were striking them, it came to be that I alone was left. And I fell on my face and cried out and said, Ah, Master Yahweh, are you destroying all the remnant of Israel and pouring out of your wrath on Jerusalem? And he said to me, The crookedness of the house of Israel and Yehuda is exceedingly great, and the land is filled with bloodshed, and the city filled with that which is warped. For they say, Yahweh has forsaken the land, and Yahweh is not seeing. But as for me, my eyes shall not pardon, nor would I spare. I shall recompense their deeds on their own head. And see, the man clothed with linen, who had the inkhorn at his side, reported back and said, I have done as you commanded me.
That's very good. Very good. Yeah, that's just prior to what we were reading,
Mm-hmm.
in the scheme of things, how it's going to lay out.
What book was that?
Ezekiel. That was Ezekiel chapter 9 you
Oh.
read. Yeah. Very good. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to keep you guys too long tonight. Normally, I don't even come on Friday night, so we're going to do more tomorrow. Though we'll do something longer, and hopefully there won't be any lag or anything. I'm not sure if we'll do on TikTok or maybe we'll do the other thing tomorrow. The Zoom and whatnot. But Ryan, if you go to my profile and just click on my YouTube link on there right below my name, it should be on there. There's all my previous lives are on there. But I'm sure it's still lag. It must not be lagging. Nobody's been saying anything for a while now that it's
Turned off my phone's Wi-Fi.
Oh. Well, thank you for helping read tonight, brother. And
Absolutely.
oh, it has been lagging. And
Absolutely.
oh, it has been lagging still, I guess. Well, hopefully the YouTube video, it shouldn't lag. So usually it uploads good, but all right. Well, I won't keep you guys too much longer since it's just lagging and you're probably hearing
It's so annoying when it lags like that. I can't listen.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, brother. And I love you guys. And just look for it. It'll probably be a couple hours. It'll be on there. Love you guys.
All right. Love y'all.
Wow.
Bye.